Now, of course, it's Friday. You know what happens on a Friday. A load of brand new movies get released on a Friday, on streaming, in the cinema, and that's why movie critic Van Connor pops onto the show with me every Friday at this time, just to have a little natter about a couple of the new movies that you could dive into at some point this week. Welcome back, Van. How are you?
I'm all good, Mr. Ball. How you doing this week, my man?
All good this end. Now, as far as movies go, is it a good week for movies, or is it a bit of a rubbish one?
Do you know, it's a bit of an interesting horror week at the movies this week. I know we had The Conjuring last week, but weirdly, like, both new releases this week are more in the horror vein. So we've got one that feels like it's, you know, based on a Stephen King thing, and one that actually is based on a Stephen King thing, and they're both in cinemas. So I'll talk through the first one. This is the one that isn't based on a Stephen King thing, but is in fact based on a Walter Mosley novel instead. And has been adapted by its author. He's co-adapted it with the writer-director of the movie, Nadia Latif. It's called The Man in My Basement. It stars Corey Hawkins from Straight Outta Compton. He's a young man whose family have all passed away. He's the last man standing in the sort of family ancestral home in this sort of iconically African-American based small town called Sag Harbor, I think. He's struggling to pay the bill, to keep the mortgage going, and then one day, and in no way disturbing, Willem Dafoe shows up at his door and says, "Hello, have you got a basement big enough for me to stand up in?" He goes, "Yes. I'd like to hire it for 65 days for $1,000 a day. Does it sound too good to be true?" It probably is. And before you know it, Corey Hawkins has a man in a cage locked in his basement through no fault of his own, and he's stuck with him for 65 days. Have a listen to this clip.
Why'd you choose my house? There's some answers you don't need to know. You seem tense, Mr. Blakey. Just tell me what you did.
What is that? Are you okay, Charles?
Tell me who you are, and I'll kill you. Why are you here? Why are you here?
I love the premise of this movie. I think it's got the scope to be a really, really good thriller.
Yeah, do you remember the Street Fighter movie that has Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia in from 1994 with Kylie Minogue? Remember? There's a great line of dialogue in that otherwise awful movie in which Raul Julia says, "To you, the day Bison came in and destroyed your village," meaning himself, "was, you know, the worst day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday." And I feel like that about whenever Willem Dafoe delivers a performance as good as what he does here. You're like, for any other actor, this is an absolute career highlight. For Willem Dafoe, this is Tuesday, because it's an absolutely brilliant performance, but it's so bog standard Willem Dafoe at this stage. And there's very few actors you could say that of. Corey Hawkins, though, who filled in for Jonathan Majors here, gets quite a showcase here. Gets a real meaty role to actually give some character and some depth to. The material is actually there for him for a change. It's quite nicely directed. Like I say, it has that Stephen Kingian feel, but if it has a big fault, it's that the themes and elements it wants to explore feel like they are balanced in such a way that works better on the pages of a novel, from which this obviously spawns, and don't so much work on the big screen without being streamlined or modified or just tweaked in some way. It feels like this feels like a direct translation to me, and it's something that I don't think survives that translation.
So if you just fancied like an average thriller, is this worth going to the cinema to see?
For about the first three quarters, yes.
Okay.
And then you get to all the themes being muddled and it being kind of a hodgepodge, and I'm not quite sure what this means. I'm not quite sure what that means. And we had, put it this way, three of us had three different takes on the ending of this. Mark Kermode, Matthew Turner, and myself all had different takes on the ending of this movie. That just tells you a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it could be a good thing that if different people kind of consume it in different ways. I don't know, but I definitely want to see it. And if you want to see The Man in My Basement, it's in selected cinemas, so certainly do a bit of research online.
The Man in My Basement.
That's what. If you want to see it,
I just got you to say, do you want to see The Man in My Basement on radio? It only took 6 years.
And that would be worrying if I had a basement. Thankfully, I don't. All right, on to our next movie. The Long Walk. So where do you want to start with this one?
This is the one that is based on a Stephen King novel.
Yes.
It's all the same name. This takes place in a dystopian future, sort of midway through the century. America has survived some sort of civil war, and as part of the new, clearly more autocrat-based society that's been structured, they have an event once a year called the Walk. The Long Walk, in which every state selects one young man, about sort of high school, college age, to represent the state, go on this grand, national event, in which all of these boys are put on a road, told, walk until you stop. When you stop, you die, and the last one standing gets untold riches and a wish, whatever wish they want. And that's the concept. We meet this year's crop of contestants, including Cooper Hoffman, son of the late great Philip Seymour, David Johnson from Alien Romulus, Ben Wang from Karate Kid Legends. They are our new crop. And what you get is a Stephen Kingian, literally by Stephen King, Stand By Me-like boys bonding adventure in what feels like something from Battle Royale or the Hunger Games, albeit with a bit of rambling. Here's a clip.
We're all in this together, right? There's no harm in keeping each other amused.
You know what? I take it back. They say you shouldn't make friends on a long walk, but I sort of like you three. Even you, Olsen. No, I'm serious. Hey. A short friendship is better than no friendship, right?
That's what I've been saying,
That's
man.
what I've been saying. Come on, man. Let's be musketeers.
There's 4 of us.
Come on now. We stick together to where all that's left. How about that? All for one.
One for all.
No, and again, I need to hear it louder. All for one.
And one for all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not you.
This sounds a little bit kind of Hunger Games-esque for me, and I loved the Hunger Games.
In the way it's executed, it actually feels closer to Squid Game than Hunger
Sorry,
Games.
that's what I meant. I meant Squid Game, not
Yes.
Hunger Games. I haven't seen Hunger Games.
I was about to say, because I know you're a big fan of Squid Game, but you'd very much like this, because it is how long can you hold on? And bear in mind, they walk, hundreds of miles. They literally fall asleep whilst walking, kind of thing. It's a real endurance tale.
Wow.
I really loved it. It's got that sort of nifty spin on the concept that Stephen King rather uniquely delivers. It's got great performances from a cast of up-and-coming young talent like David Johnson, who I was quite a fan of in Alien Romulus last year. Cooper Hoffman, I hadn't seen it anything for. Ben Wang, I thought, had real charisma in Karate Kid. And just a really fun, rounded cast. And they're all lauded over by this absolutely menacing, scenery-chewing Mark Hamill as the sort of authoritarian dictator of this new era. So like Luke Skywalker / the Joker is, the guy running. And I loved it. At first I thought he was Michael Ironside. I was actually happier when it was Mark Hamill, would you believe? And it's hard to top Michael Ironside. But yeah, big fan. A little bit miffed with the ending, like the final 60 seconds left me a bit, you were doing so well.
I hate it when they do that.
That's it. Yeah, but to be fair, it's not that much of a dampener that you don't still go away thinking, that was a hell of a time. That was a really interesting, that is basically Stand By Me if they just, dropped like flies along the way.
Well, if you want to check it out, you can, because The Long Walk is on from today at the Curzon and View Cinemas in Oxford. View in Bicester and The Light in Banbury is also showing it. Very quickly, Van, before we let you go, what have we got to look forward to next week? Are there any big uns?
Well, next week, I believe we've got the return of DiCaprio next week in One Battle After Another. Yeah, the Paul Thomas Anderson. People are talking about this as being the first big sort of Oscar caliber movie that's not Sinners, because I still don't buy that Sinners is going to be an actual Best Picture contender, but apparently this is the first one of the Oscar crop for the year, and it's a DiCaprio one. What could go wrong?
Exactly that. I love a bit of Leonardo DiCaprio. So we'll see what you think of that one next week, Van. Have a lovely weekend. We'll catch up then.
Till the next time, my good sir.
Right then, thank you, Van. It's 11:31 on BBC Radio Oxford. This is Sting, Fields of Gold. Got the latest on the roads for you coming up.